ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, this video is a bit later than expected, only because the video that I had planned, I have put back to for tomorrow. Because this video for today, or the video for today, was rudely interrupted by one gentleman that decided to have a mega big game in the Object 777. Yes, it is one of the highest damage games that you will ever see in your life in Blitz. Of course, it did make it a little bit easier with his the team that he was coming up against, but to get damage like you're going to see, you need things like that. So before I play the replay, I know what the comments are going to be, because it is always the same thing. When someone has a big damage game, instead of commending the person that does that big damage game, they are like, oh, that wasn't hard, you know, because of the team. Well, I would like you to go and do this much damage. That's all I've got to say. No matter how bad the team is, you don't see this kind of damage every day. So let's get straight into the replay, shall we? The Object 777, as I said, driven by a gentleman. Now, this guy, gentleman, has sent me a few replays in the past, and every single replay that he sends me, it is absolutely amazing. Like, very high damage game. So he is on the new map Lagoon, and of course, as I've said, he is driving the Object 777. Now, I absolutely love this tank. I think it is now one of the best tier 10 tanks in the game, and yeah, it's just amazing. Like, almost everything about the tank is so good, and it is becoming one of my favorite tier 10 heavy tanks, at least heavy tanks. Not quite my favorite tier 10, but it's up there. It is absolutely up there. So straight away, he pushes here, and that whole enemy, or pretty much most of the enemy team, have now been spotted. But the thing with this replay, not only does he do a crazy amount of damage, he also blocks quite a bit of damage as well. So he uses the tank correctly. Apart from that shot there, and of course the shot in return to the Death Star. So he did get hit by a big shot there from the Death Star. Probably that could have changed the outcome of this game. That shot there from the Death Star could, if he wouldn't have taken that shot, then and maybe if he would have penned his shot, then I think the outcome of this game would be a completely different outcome, and even more damage than he does. Yes, he could have done even more damage than he does. So straight off, he is bounced 420. He's got 1,300, and there's the Death Star, who takes another shot. Now, he don't lose that much hit points there because the Death Star is shooting HE. He's probably struggling to penetrate, so he's just firing HE just to cause a bit of damage, which is absolutely fine. When you're driving a tank like the Death Star, I do recommend doing that, because something like a Death Star, I mean, 182 damage wasn't actually a lot, and he did definitely get away with that. So far, he is rocking this corner. Yes, he's losing hit points. Yes, he's losing his team. But he is still doing a big amount of damage. So he's now up to 3.5k damage. He even blocks the Type 71 from the rear. There goes the Death Star. So now that Death Star has gone, it gives him just a little bit more, you know, he can get around a bit more, and he's not got that Death Star staring at him, because so far he's lost half of his hit points just from that Death Star. So 820 block damage now. Of course, he's going to try to go for the IS-8 to bring him down to a one shot there. It is now a 5 versus 4. However, there is an E100 coming out here. He does come out sideways, and he does do a little bit of damage, but to be honest, he probably didn't need to come out sideways there. He could have just waited a little bit. He could have been a little bit more patient, and again, that there is a little mistake that this guy does. He doesn't do many mistakes. He does not do many mistakes at all. But that, for me, was a big mistake. Coming out sideways against an E100 is a massive mistake, because now that puts him down to a one shot to this E100. So yeah, big mistake there. So far, 6,800 damage, and it is now a 3 versus 4. Luckily for him, he doesn't have many people looking at him. He's got the IS-8 here, who's a one-shot. Can't quite get his gun down enough to get the IS-8, so he's going to go for the Type 71 instead. Now it is a 3 versus 3. Going for the Type 71 is an absolute must right now because he is the lower hit point tank. Don't know what the AMX-50B is doing. Like, what are you doing? I have no idea what that AMX-50B was doing. So again, he goes for the E100. Now, the guy behind, the FV4005, is behind. Luckily, he gets a few bounces again. But the FV is a one-shot. But now he's got himself in a situation where he can't turn to get that FV, because if he turns, these guys have got side shots. So he's just going to move out the way. And of course, go for the Type 71. So he's now up to 9,700 damage. 9,700 damage. And I don't know what the E100 on his team is doing. Like, just kill that guy, for God's sake. Gets another bounce there. He is now up to 10,600 damage. He gets the kill on the FV, gets a nice bounce, but sadly, it is just too much. And where I say he made some mistakes, I mean, he didn't really make a Death Star mistake, but that E100 mistake, he may have been able to take a shot there and still have hit points left. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't work out in his favour. He leaves 2 tanks that are both on one-shots, which is horrible. So he could have done a little bit more damage. He could have actually got over 11,000 damage. I don't think I've ever seen 11,000 damage. But overall, he played it fantastic. Just that one major mistake coming out sideways against the E100. But to get 10,800 damage. I mean, look at the team. The enemy team actually, excuse me, people can't even sit there and say the enemy were bad, because they all done all right, you know. The second to lowest player got 1,000 and the lowest got 700, fair enough. But his team, I mean, look at that, 200, 400, 400, 400. So he completely carried this team, and that could have been a very easy win if it wasn't for that little mistake. But it is what it is. Sadly, he doesn't break that 11,000 mark, but he's still got to come away feeling happy with 10,800 damage. But knowing this guy, he's going to walk away with that being a bit pissed off because he could have done more damage. Probably the only player or the only battle to the person to do 10,800 damage and walk away disappointed. But it is what it is. Still could be proud of that damage. I'd love to do that kind of damage, and I'm sure you guys would as well. 10,800 damage in the brand new tier 10 tank, the Object 777. Let me guys know what you would have done differently this game. Did you enjoy it? Was it a good game? And have you ever seen this much damage done before? Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With